Hey, parents, ever find yourself staring at your kids, wondering, am I doing this right? Am I raising them to be good, honest, and strong individuals in a world that's constantly changing? If you're anything like me, you probably had those moments, those days when it feels like everything is moving so fast, and you're just trying to keep up. Between the chaos of school, sports, social media, and everything else life throws at us, it's hard not to feel like we're losing control sometimes. But what if I told you that some of the most timeless parenting lessons we need right now were taught by none other than Abraham Lincoln? Yep, the same Abraham Lincoln who led the United States through one of its darkest times. But wait, before you roll your eyes and think, what can a 19th century president possibly teach me about parenting today? Let me assure you, more than you could ever imagine. I get it. We live in a world of smartphones, social media, and endless distractions. We want to give our kids the best, but we also don't want them to grow up entitled, selfish, or overwhelmed by all the noise. That's where Lincoln's parenting wisdom comes in. Practical, simple, and incredibly powerful. This isn't about memorizing long speeches or complicated theories. It's about real, everyday actions and lessons that stand the test of time. Abraham Lincoln wasn't just a great president. He was a father who struggled, just like you and me, trying to raise 4 boys with love, patience, and integrity. Lincoln didn't have the luxury of today's technology, but what he did have was a deep understanding of the values that would make his sons, and eventually his country, strong. And guess what? Those same values can make a huge difference in how we parent today. So, in this video, I'm going to share some of Lincoln's most valuable parenting lessons and how they can help you shape your kids into kind, responsible, and resilient individuals in the world we live in today. Whether you're a parent, grandparent, or someone who just wants to understand how to teach the next generation, this video is packed with lessons that you can start applying right now. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be thinking about your own parenting in a whole new way. Ready to dive into the wisdom of one of history's greatest leaders? Let's get started. You might be surprised at how much you can learn from Abraham Lincoln today. 1. Lincoln's family life, a glimpse into his parenting philosophy. Abraham Lincoln didn't grow up in privilege. He was born in a log cabin in Kentucky with humble beginnings. His family faced hardships just like many of us, but Lincoln was determined to provide better opportunities for his own children. He married Mary Todd, and together they had 4 sons, Robert, Eddie, Willie, and Tad. The Lincoln household was far from ideal. They lived in a small, noisy home in Springfield, Illinois. Lincoln worked tirelessly to support his family, while simultaneously navigating the heavy responsibilities of his legal career. His sons, like many children, kept him on his toes. Robert, the eldest, was serious and often preoccupied with his future. Eddie, the quiet and introspective second son, tragically passed away at a young age. Willie and Tad, the younger 2, were the energetic troublemakers of the family, climbing trees, chasing animals, and generally causing mayhem. But despite the chaos, Lincoln was committed to being a good father. He didn't shy away from tough conversations or tough decisions. Instead, he embraced the role of teaching his children through his actions and words, focusing on values that would help them become good people in the long run. 2. The power of patience, teaching your kids to wait. In a world where everything is instant, patience might seem like a forgotten virtue, but Lincoln knew the power of waiting, and he passed that wisdom down to his sons. One of the most famous examples of Lincoln teaching patience comes from a story about his youngest son, Tad. Tad was about 8 years old, and one day he had his heart set on a toy horse from the local general store. Like many kids, he wanted it immediately. Instead of simply buying it for him, Lincoln took a different approach. He knelt down at Tad's level and said, "Son, I can't buy this toy today, but next week, when I get paid, we'll go together and pick it out. And if you want, we can paint it together." Imagine how Tad must have felt. He wanted the toy right now, and Lincoln had just told him to wait. But Lincoln followed through with his promise. A week later, true to his word, he took Tad to the store, bought the toy, and they spent the afternoon painting it together. That afternoon wasn't just about a toy. It was about teaching Tad that good things take time. This is something that many of us forget in today's fast-paced world, where we're used to getting things at the snap of a finger. But the lesson Lincoln imparted is timeless. Patience isn't just about waiting for something you want. It's about learning to value the process and understanding that sometimes the best things come to those who wait. I think back to my own experiences with my kids. How many times have I been quick to give them what they want because I want to avoid the tantrum or the frustration? But there's power in waiting, and I've realized that when we teach our children patience, we're giving them something far more valuable than any toy or gadget. 3. Honesty. The backbone of every strong relationship. Honesty is one of those values that should be taught early, and it's something that Lincoln held dear. One of the most profound lessons about honesty comes from a story about his son, Willie. One day, Willie came home with a shiny new pencil. Lincoln noticed it and asked, "Where did you get that pencil, Willie?" Willie, like many children, tried to downplay the situation by saying, "I found it." But Lincoln, being the wise and observant man he was, knew that something wasn't right. He pressed further, asking, "Are you sure you found it, or did it belong to someone else?" Finally, Willie admitted that he had taken it from another child's desk. Instead of scolding him or imposing harsh punishment, Lincoln simply said, "Son, finding something doesn't make it yours. The right thing to do is to return it and apologize." Lincoln didn't raise his voice or lash out. He calmly walked with Willie to the other child's house, where Willie returned the pencil and apologized. Lincoln's lesson was clear. Honesty is not just about telling the truth when it's convenient, but it's about doing the right thing, even when it's uncomfortable. I can't help but think about the times I've caught my children in little white lies. How easy it is to let it slide because it's just a small thing, right? But Lincoln's story reminds us that we have an opportunity every day to model the behavior we want to see in our children. When we emphasize honesty, not just in the big things, but in the small moments, we're teaching them that their word is their bond, and that a powerful lesson they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. 3. Honesty. The backbone of every strong relationship. Honesty is one of those values that should be taught early, and it's something that Lincoln held dear. One of the most profound lessons about honesty comes from a story about his son, Willie. One day, Willie came home with a shiny new pencil. Lincoln noticed it and asked, "Where did you get that pencil, Willie?" Willie, like many children, tried to downplay the situation by saying, "I found it." But Lincoln, being the wise and observant man he was, knew that something wasn't right. He pressed further, asking, "Are you sure you found it, or did it belong to someone else?" Finally, Willie admitted that he had taken it from another child's desk. Instead of scolding him or imposing harsh punishment, Lincoln simply said, "Son, finding something doesn't make it yours. The right thing to do is to return it and apologize." Lincoln didn't raise his voice or lash out. He calmly walked with Willie to the other child's house, where Willie returned the pencil and apologized. Lincoln's lesson was clear. Honesty is not just about telling the truth when it's convenient, but it's about doing the right thing, even when it's uncomfortable. I can't help but think about the times I've caught my children in little white lies. How easy it is to let it slide because it's just a small thing, right? But Lincoln's story reminds us that we have an opportunity every day to model the behavior we want to see in our children. When we emphasize honesty, not just in the big things, but in the small moments, we're teaching them that their word is their bond, and that a powerful lesson they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. For integrity and setting an example, one of Lincoln's greatest qualities as a father was his ability to lead by example. He didn't just tell his children what to do. He showed them through his actions. Lincoln wasn't perfect. He struggled with personal challenges and professional pressures, but he lived with integrity. He made promises to his children and he kept them. One of the best ways we can teach our kids about integrity is by setting an example. Our children are constantly watching us. They notice how we handle stress, how we treat others, and whether we follow through on our commitments. If we tell our children to be kind, but they see us losing our temper with others, we're sending a mixed message. If we encourage them to work hard, but don't put in the effort ourselves, they'll notice that too. Lincoln understood the importance of modeling integrity. Whether it was keeping his promises to his sons or leading the country with honesty and humility, Lincoln lived his values every day. His sons saw him not just as a political leader, but as a man of character who embodied the very qualities he taught them. This is a reminder for all of us. As parents, we must always strive to be the people we want our children to become. If we want them to be honest, kind, and hardworking, then we must be those things too. Our children learn more from what they see us do than from what we say. 5. Fostering resilience. Preparing our kids for life's challenges. In Lincoln's time, resilience was a necessity. He faced immense personal loss, the death of his beloved son, Eddie, and the challenges of living through the Civil War. Yet, despite these difficulties, Lincoln remained steadfast and focused on the future. He didn't allow himself to be consumed by his grief or despair. Instead, he focused on the needs of his country and his family. Lincoln's ability to overcome adversity is a lesson for all of us, particularly in today's world, where challenges are given. Teaching resilience to our children is more important than ever, whether it's dealing with academic struggles, personal loss, or simply the stresses of everyday life. We must help our children develop the emotional strength to navigate these challenges. One of the best ways we can teach resilience is by showing our children how to cope with setbacks. When they face failure, instead of rushing to fix things, we can help them see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about developing the tools to deal with it and come out stronger on the other side. As we reflect on the life of Abraham Lincoln and the lessons he taught his sons, it becomes clear that his parenting style was defined by love, patience, and integrity. These timeless values are just as relevant today as they were in Lincoln's time. Whether we're raising children, mentoring young adults, or simply reflecting on our own lives, we can all benefit from the wisdom he shared. Lincoln's lessons remind us that parenting isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, leading with love, and teaching our children the values that will guide them throughout their lives. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, the values Lincoln instilled in his sons offer us a roadmap for raising children who are kind, responsible, and resilient. As we navigate our own parenting journeys, let's remember to be patient, to model honesty and integrity, and to lead by example. Our children are watching us, and the lessons we teach them today will shape the adults they become tomorrow. Thank you for joining me today in exploring the wisdom of Abraham Lincoln. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What lessons from Lincoln resonate most with you? Let's continue the conversation and help each other become better parents.